A golden Harambe? That's such a good idea. We have to add the golden Harambe. No, that's not funny. That's cringe. We can't do that. We can't express our love for lowland gorillas. Hello, welcome. Thank you very much for the 32 months. Welcome. I am live on Twitch. I'm currently living hardcover. Do you play tactical hero-based, team-based arena shooters? You've seen 1,000. I have seen 1,000 runs of Castlevania. I played that a million times yesterday, and I died so many times. But then I finally got my deathless run. Right before the stroke of midnight on Halloween. I died in Castlevania. Yes, I did. Bearing punches with the strength of silverbacks to knock out. What's that? What is that? Am I allowed to say that on Twitch? Can I say that? I hope so. No. I hope so. So you smacked Dr. Acula? I smacked him. We could smack him again live on stream if we wanted to. We could try. But I have video footage. We don't need to smack him again. But we will. Oh yes, we will. LilyHops announcement. Oh, that's me. Cool. Guess what? 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 How did you get the golden kappa? I want that golden kappa. Hey Benny Walk. Welcome. Welcome to my stream. I think it's about time to go over to this other screen now. Golden! It is the golden. Impressive kappa finds. Hello, everybody. Hi. Hi. I hope you had a good Halloween last night. Spooky month has ended. They need a golden version of TwitchCon hype. How does she move her head like a turtle? Cool. Hello, welcome. Yeah. It's Nano. It's Nano Rimo. It is. $2. $2. You're getting Christmas ads? Well, okay. The stores here changed the seasonal candy out the night of, so there isn't even half-price chocolate. So you have to pay full-price chocolate because it's for Christmas now? Who wants bat and pumpkin-shaped chocolate for Christmas? Like, half the chat is gonna be like, oh, that sounds pretty good, actually. Hi. Yum yum. Hello, Native Wave. Hello, Ethereal. Hello, Watchmaker. Hi, Comrade Garlock. Hi, Aeos Luna. Hi, Carrion Fairy. Hi, Gearty. Hi, Whoosh Level. Hi, Arcmute. Hi, Christian. Hi, Jacato. Hi, Yevzon. Hi, Coffin Head. Hi, Linkykus. Hi, You like Final Fantasy 1? I'm glad you like it. I want to beat it pretty soon. I'm still fighting the 4 fiends. I'm still training up my guys to fight the 4 fiends. I like that game though. I'm so excited to get to Final Fantasy 4. It looks so good. Oh, after I beat Castlevania 1 last night, I was like, which Castlevania game should I start playing next? And instinctively I was like, well, I hear people talking all the time about Castlevania 3, but what about Castlevania 2? And I looked it up and it's nothing like the other ones. It's not the same kind of game. So it seems like kind of like a Zelda 2 type thing. Kind of. Have you ever played Final Fantasy V? No. What kind of game is it? I haven't played it, so I can't tell for certain, but it doesn't look like it's linear. It looks kind of like open world. This game sucks. I don't know if it sucks, but you explore more than the other games, it's a bit linear. Well, what I mean is there's not stages, right? There's not like, oh, the level boss. You go from one end of the level to the other side, and there's a boss that you fight, and then you're on the next level. That's not what Castlevania 2 is like. Did you know? It's called Castlevania because it's Metroidvania set in a castle. No. No, it's not. It's called Castlevania because every 100 years, Dracula's castle rises from the mist and it's called Castlevania. That is the name of his castle. I would say Castlevania 2 is sort of a bit like Zelda 2. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I was playing Castlevania all day trying to get my Deathless run. Because I've never gotten a Deathless run in any game before. Except games where you cannot die, I guess. And it took me 31 attempts. And 9 hours. Because I'm not good at platformers. I do not have very good reflexes. And I would say my spatial awareness is pretty low. I'm not very good at jumping. I'm not much of a jumper, even when I'm jumping with my fingers. It's patchy 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 patchy. Patchy 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 patchy. Do you like linear games more? Yes. I do. I didn't like Breath of the Wild very much because it was so open. If that game was linear, I would probably like it a lot. Can you imagine a linear game with crafting elements? Like if Breath of the Wild Link was just in a hallway. You should give it another go. Maybe I will. Do you like Warhammer or Warhammer 40k? I do. I like those games. I like those things. I kind of prefer Age of Sigmar to 40k, but I like both of them. And I especially like the painting part. I think the lore is a little edgy for me, to be honest. Like, the lore turns me off from the series. But yes. I love Dragon Quest Builders Jakarta X. That's one of my favorite series. It's so cute. It's such a good spin-off. Yes, Warhammer Orc ASMR. Good idea. Yeah. You need to play Builders 2. I heard Builders 2 was such a big improvement over the first one. Is that the one with the tanks? Yes. It does have tanks. But maybe you're thinking of a different one with tanks, because a lot of different stuff has tanks in it. Yeah, honestly, Builders 2 does have many improvements. What I love so much is if you know that, if you've... Let me collect myself. If you are familiar with the Dragon Quest series, and you're like, oh, yes, I've played Dragon Quest 1. I've saved the kingdom. And then you play Dragon Quest Builders, you get to go to the places that you went to in Dragon Quest 1, and you get to you get to see that town, but in 3D. It's like, have you ever seen people make models of, like, 8-bit games? Like, little, dioramas of the towns and Pokemon and stuff, and just making them 3-dimensional with papercraft and stuff? That is what Dragon Quest Builders reminds me of. It's very, very cute. You need a golden slime. What do you need a golden slime? What do you need a golden slime for? Hello, Lone Star Colt. I was just talking a little bit about Dragon Quest Builders. Oh, you have a golden cap, I see. Oh, you're bragging. Coconuts. Oh yeah, golden pog frog. That is a good suggestion too. I'm kind of on the fence if I want to show you Castlevania 1 or if I want to show you Yooka-Laylee. Because I kind of want to play both. I don't know which one I should pick. Dragon Quest Builders is so fun. You got the one for the PS Vita. Oh, I only played it on Switch. I have a lot of games on Switch. Because you can just fill a micro SD card with like 1 million games. I know there are physical game collectors for modern consoles, but like for me personally, it makes a lot less sense to be a modern physical collector or modern collector of collector of modern physical media, because a lot of the time you like buy a box and it's just like a download code inside of a plastic case. It's like, go to our website and you can download the thing. It's like, okay, why'd you make the box then? Although I do like cool packaging. I have the collector's edition for Fire Emblem Fates, which is the first Fire Emblem I ever played, and it made me very interested in the series. I like it very much. Yeah, we were just hanging around. Dragon Quest Builders 2 is great because you can make a shitty hole in the ground and make someone live there. Yeah, you can. What I love is you like build a little dirt 2x2 cube, and then you look at your instructions and it's like, well, okay, you made a room, but if this had a refrigerator and a sink, it would be a kitchen. And then you have to figure out how to craft those, and you put those inside, and then it makes a kitchen. And then the kitchen NPC is like, this is perfect for me to make my apple pies. And then your town has apple pies again. In that sense, it reminds me a lot more of Terraria than Minecraft. It's very NPC focused, but not in like an expositional way, more like a game mechanic way. Like there's a blacksmith and he's like, I need my blacksmith shop so all of the people can buy weapons and stuff. So you have to figure out how to make that for him. And here we see the rare spotted Yooka-Laylee fan. I love Yooka-Laylee. I've 100%ed it 4 times. But it's not a very well-known game. Like, when I tell people that I've 100%ed it 4 times, they're like, oh, I didn't know you played the Yooka-Laylee. It's like completely nonsensical in the context of what we're talking about, but very cute as a response. I only buy physical if it comes with extra stuff, like Signalis or Sakuna. Sakuna of Rice and Ruin? That is a game about horticulture. Do you know that I love plants? Did you know that, or are you just messing with me? Can you beat it without dying, Yooka-Laylee? A Yooka-Laylee Deathless Run sounds... hard. I would prefer a Yooka-Laylee Deathful Run. Yes. I kinda wish that DQ Builders has a free mode where the game gives you free range to build and manage a town. It does! Doesn't it? Am I crazy? Yooka-Laylee is awesome, especially if you grew up with Banjo-Kazooie. Exactly! I love Banjo-Kazooie. I think I prefer Banjo-Tooie a little bit more, which I think is not the popular position. But, I like both of them. Banjo-Tooie has very big, open levels. They're huge, unnecessarily big. And it makes them very, atmospheric, I would say. It's kind of like a game for people who like liminal spaces. Or people with agoraphobia who want to torture themselves. Would you ever stream Banjo? Yes. Yes, I would stream Banjo. What about Nuts and Bolts? I've never played that, but I would. I would try Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. I heard there are like vestiges hidden all over the levels of when it used to be a collectathon. And then like partway through development they scrapped it and they're like, this has... No! Make it something else. Oh, this is overlapping. Where should I put it? Yeah, I agree, Dempsey. There's a lot to experience in Banjo-Kazooie. I know this is kind of bonkers of me, but I would love, after I'm done with each Fire Emblem game, each classic Fire Emblem game, if I bought a physical copy of each Fire Emblem and put them on a shelf and made a little Fire Emblem shrine and just build it up with trophies as I get further and further into the series. And then when I'm done, I can look at it and be like, look, Look what I made. I made this. Speaking of Yooka-Laylee, have you seen / played Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair? Yes. Yes, I have. That is a better game than the first one. However, I don't like it as much. But everyone else does. And if you're evaluating it from some objective criteria, or like critical reception, then Impossible Lair is the better game. But I like Yooka-Laylee for sentimental reasons. I think it's very epic. Hello, Studios. I want to do that with Final Fantasy games, but it's so expensive. How expensive are the Final Fantasy games? I know at least the PlayStation 1 era ones are insane. But the soundtracks are inexpensive. You can buy the Final Fantasy VIII soundtrack, my favorite Final Fantasy soundtrack. Except for 11 is actually my favorite. But 8 is my second favorite. You kinda like Yooka-Laylee original a bit more since you grew up with 3D platform. 3D platformers and collectathons. Reasonable, yes. I've never played Legend of Dragoon. I haven't played very many PlayStation 1 games. But I like it, I think it's cool. I saw someone streaming Fire Emblem 4 on the original hardware and a small CRT yesterday. That's so cool! I love those tiny CRTs, the ones that are supposed to be like rack mounted. Those are really cool, but they're like a little spendy now. To be honest with you, I don't even know what Legend of Dragoon is. Maybe I've seen someone play that. You grew up with a 3D platform. It just floats there. What the... Oh.
Linda just subscribed. Lily hope he goes back to learning.
Thank you very much for the 3 months, Gloom Dev. I hope you have a good day of developing. I hope your day develops into an even better day. Your favorite puzzle platformer is Fireboy and Water Girl. I've never heard of that either. You know what 3D platformer I kinda don't like? Crash Bandicoot. I'm not a big Crash Banda head. I always really liked Spyro though. I feel like Crash Bandicoot was a little too wacky. Yes. I was a very serious child and I would not tolerate any wackiness. You like Spyro more? Yes! I love when you get to... I like when you get to, the metal safes or treasure chests, and you breathe fire on them and they glow red. And I like that you can ram stuff with your head. That game is so fun to control. Crash Bandicoot sucks, just play Barbie PS1 instead. I haven't played that, but I'll keep that in mind. Maybe Fallen Shadow would like that one. You have favorites throughout the franchise. Hard to pick, but you like Sakimoto, Uematsu, and Silken. Silken is surprisingly good. Even when I try to hate Final Fantasy XIV, I can't. You played a lot of Dino Crisis. I need to play that because I love survival games. after strategy games and puzzle games, my third favorite genre of games are survival games. Yes, Fallen Shadow is a Barbie girl. It's confirmed. But yeah, Dino Crisis is the Resident Evil but with zombies. I also, speaking of survival games, I also haven't played the game that Resident Evil is based off of. Isn't it called Alone in the Dark? I want to play that. Dino Crisis is awesome. I honestly wish Capcom would make more. Or remake them. That would be a cool reboot. In a little over 2 weeks, there's a new Magical Gathering set coming out, and it's all about their Wizards of the Coast's Mesoamerican setting, where it's like, oh, look, there's pirates everywhere, but also there's dinosaurs and Mayan temples and tombs. And you made me think of that. There's also a crossover they're doing with Jurassic Park, where you can get Jurassic Park cards inside of your Magical Gathering packs, which is kind of cool. You like your dinos with feathers? Or no feathers? Feathers or no feathers? I like them both. No feathers. Lizards, please. Both. Magic has been going crazy with the crossovers. Who, Street Fighter, Transformers. They have, and I don't know, the thing about like I think a lot more people would be okay with the commander decks like Doctor Who and Warhammer 40k as opposed to the universes within stuff like Street Fighter and Transformers, because it's not in like a normal pack, right? You have to buy the like separate product to get the, oh, I like Doctor Who, so I'm gonna buy the Doctor Who cards. Whereas with Street Fighter, for example, you would be buying like a normal pack of cards, and you would be like, oh, I can't wait to get orcs and wizards and stuff, and you get Chun-Li, and you're like, I don't know how I feel about this anymore. But the problem with I have about those commander decks is they're like $100 each. That's a lot for a commander deck. I know you get 100 cards, but that's a lot. Because in TCGs, I always remember starter decks and theme decks and stuff being like $20, and not even that long ago, right? But it also depends on what kinds of cards are being reprinted. There's a lot of speculation that they look at like secondary market prices and they're like, oh, this card is very sought after, so we'll use this for a reprint. Please hold. I'm going on a little rampage right now, hold on. Hello, Shiro Luffy. Welcome. A modern deck is $1,000, yeah. My primary format is drafting. And I've met people, non-drafters or non-limited players who are like, isn't that expensive? Because you have to pay $10 every time you play in an event. So it's like $10 for me to play for like 5 hours on a Thursday night or something. And actually, no, that's a lot cheaper than every other format because you're buying in, but you also get cards that you can potentially resell. And you don't have to update the deck every like year. Standard decks are so expensive. Commander decks are even more so. Modern is probably crazy. I used to have a few friends who played a lot of Modern, but I have never touched it. Modern is probably the least interesting format to me.
Chunky Thrust just subscribed. LilyHops, yes, LilyHops, yes.
Thank you very much for the 28 months, Chunky Beef Thrust. Drafting is the purest form of magic. You're based, Bread Robe. And the reason why I think that's so based is because, in my opinion, drafting is the least expensive way to play. It is the lowest power level. It requires the most skill and knowledge, which I think is really cool. There's a very high skill ceiling. I like how often it changes, because you get a completely different draft format like every couple months. Very cool. I don't know very much about paleontology, but I think it's cool. Yeah, $10 a share of the pizza cost, yeah. Yeah, this is my room. The draft price increase with Play Booster suck, though at least it's not on Arena. I agree, yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that. So for those of you who don't know, Magic the Gathering, there used to be like one type of booster pack, but then they split it into 3 different types of booster packs. So there were draft boosters, which are specifically for playing the draft format. There are set boosters, which are like what the old ones normally were, the old booster packs. And then there's collector boosters, which are like giga expensive $20 packs, and every card is foil, and sometimes you get a transformer. You know a lot about paleontology, you talk about it all the time. Are you gaslighting me? Do I actually talk about paleontology? But anyway, to finish that anecdote, they are getting rid of the draft booster because I guess it wasn't making economic sense for them or whatever. So they're merging the draft booster and the set booster so that there will only be 2 types of boosters now. There will be the normal booster, and there will be the collector booster. And the price of all of the packs are going up. I keep thinking about the Mario Kart 8 booster pack. What's that? I suck at Mario Kart, but I like it. The reason why I quit VR, using my virtual reality thingy, is because I went on VR chat and I went to a Mario Kart world and I was just zooming around with my friends. And I got so sick, I had to stop on the side of the track and get out of my car and just hold my head. I was like, oh no, I feel so sick. I get sick in normal cars. In Mario Karts? Are you serious? Do you know how sick you get in a Mario Kart? You're so glad as an LGS you're switching to the new packs in a few sets. No one buys draft booster pack. Yeah, draft booster boxes. I kind of liked buying the unset booster boxes because I really like basic lands. So I was really happy, oh, Infinity boxes are $80 and you get a ton of basic lands. And there were also the shock lands, right? Those were cool. What's your least favorite of the 5 elements in Magic the Gathering? Red, easily. Red is the one about emotion and freedom and chaos. And that's my least favorite one. I think red is very, very cringe. Okay, but goblins, though. I can respect the goblins. What's your favorite basic land art? That's hard. I like a lot of them. Yeah, some of my closest friends are red mages, so I'm not a red hater. Okay, I'm a red hater. But I like them. Favorite movie? My favorite movie? It changes all the time. But I watched Alien last night and I think that's my favorite movie today. Yeah. The first Alien movie. I'm not a paleontologist, you twisted psychopath. Stop lightning bolting me. Red has been too limited by its mechanics. What I do like about Red is how easy the decks are to pilot. So it's very easy to introduce someone to the game with Red. Or like red, white. I don't know. Like, I don't mean to imply that you have to play a super cerebral deck to have fun with the game, but I don't think most of the decisions that Red tends to give you with its cards are very interesting. You love Alien? I love aliens too. I have a friend who is an alien. Yeah, Red deck wins. I think Alien is based too. Do you like the sequel? Do you like Aliens too? A Q-Build followed me. Cool. Very pog. Do I not have the alerts? Maybe I just wasn't paying attention. Maybe I was talking about something weird. You know nothing about Magic the Gathering, but you have a friend who plays it, and you tell him you just want to make a goblin or elf deck, and apparently that's possible. It is. Yeah, decks that are about, like, one specific type of animal like that are called tribal decks. So you can be like, oh, I run dinosaur tribal, or vampire tribal, or I'm an elf, and I like to play with other elves. That would be a tribal. He's some kind of blue nerd. I like green. I like green-black. Is my favorite pairing. Paleontologist tribal. What is with the paleontologist? You guys... Hello. Welcome. All I know is I loved winning turn 3 with goblins in standard. Cute. But yeah, I'm really excited for the new set that's coming out. Blue is cool though. I think if I were... I do this with everybody. If I had to decide what color of mana my friends are centered in, a good majority of them would be blue. But I do not think I am blue myself. Hi, small potato. Hello, welcome. I knew you would like green, but I asked anyway. You set me up. You set me up. Kurok is so cool. And hello, Anthony. I'm not sure if I said hi to you before. Yeah, I'm not blue, dubba-dee, dubba-don't. Have you seen any recent horror movies that you liked, by the way? I feel like a lot of my favorite horror movies are a bit older. But I'm trying to dip my teeth. I'm trying to dip my teeth into some new ones. Oh, It Follows is one of my favorite movies. I think it has a sequel though. a bad sequel? I can't remember. There was an Australian horror movie this year called Talk to Me. It was pretty decent. It doesn't have a sequel? Maybe I dreamt that. Oh, they're making one. I like the music in It Follows. Have you heard the soundtrack? It's so good. That's insane. And I like how simple the premise is. It's very cool. It feels like a short story, kind of. Yeah, something I can really dip my toes into. Like Mungo, I feel like that's so familiar. No one will save you is pretty cool. No one will save me? Hold on, I'm writing it down. What was the Australian one? Talk to me. Talk to me. Australian. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna also write down Yooka-Laylee playing song stream. That will be fun. Hello, welcome. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. There's a good horror movie called The Greasy Strangler. That's not a horror movie. That's what's a good you like the film Splinter? I haven't heard of that, but that sounds scary. This is gonna sound kind of stupid, but one of the reasons why I think I don't like a lot of recent horror movies is because this sounds even stupider the more I think about it. But the posters I don't think are very good to my taste. Maybe they're good to somebody else. I don't know. I think they should get back on their poster making game. Poster isn't good, throw the movie out. You're not supposed to judge a movie by its poster. Are you going to watch the FNAF movie? I already did. That's your wife? The Gracie Strangler is your wife? You shouldn't talk about women that way. That's kind of cringe. I honestly don't think they've cared about posters for any movie in a decade. I think you're kind of right. Except maybe for indie movies. What did you think about the FNAF movie? I only saw half of it, but I liked it. Kongo Kokoretsu thought it was pretty good too. And that guy is pretty smart. But to be fair, you can totally judge a comic or manga by its cover. You can't? Have you done that? Oh, one of the things I love about Western comics is how many freaking covers you get. It's so cool. And I'm not even talking about variants for individual issues, although I guess they are kind of cover obsessed the more I think about it. But with each release, there's a new cover, per chapter. Can you imagine if manga had okay, imagine if manga had one cover for each. Wait, they do have one for each chapter, don't they? But imagine if they had 5 covers for each. No, don't laugh. Go back, go back. Go back. Rewind. What if there's a harem? What if there's a movie about a haunted movie poster? Ooh, that would be cool. Artifacts. What's a thing? Okay, let's write a movie, okay. We're gonna write a plot for a horror movie here. What if? What if there was a... Okay, your turn. I already did part of it. Now it's your turn. This is something I always used to do with my friends on Discord. I would be like, hey, let's take turns making up a story. And we would each type out a sentence. That was so fun. I've done that so many times. It's a really cool way to write, I think. What if there is a plant pot? A candy stealer? Are you serious? That's scary. A paleontologist. Okay. To be fair, comics are usually released one chapter at a time outside of a magazine. Manga tends to be released one chapter at a time in a magazine. This does affect how chapter covers are designed. Yeah, I think I kind of said that without thinking too hard about it, unfortunately. Aw, thank you, Rob Poppy. I appreciate it. Wait, yeah, currently? What do you mean by that, huh? You mean normally it doesn't relax you very much? Mundane hallway that you fall into randomly and can't escape, and it goes on forever. That's scary! You can't do that. When she's losing her mind, it's not relaxing, but it can be funny. Yeah, sometimes I lose my mind. I wish, when I was focusing hard on a game, I wish I didn't get quiet. But, like, whenever I'm trying really hard at something, I just get really focused. Unfortunately. Did you ever find it? Find what? Find what? My mind? Where did I put it? Where was it? Was it under my pillow? Yeah. Yeah, did you find it? Yeah, I found it. Can I show you one of my favorite games ever in the entire universe? It's called Yooka-Laylee. The Mind Fairy. That is such a good idea for a story. Okay. It opens with a kid losing her tooth. Okay? And she loses her tooth at school, and then at night her parents are like, oh, put it under your pillow. And the tooth fairy will come. Already scared, stop. I know, that's why it's so good. And then when she wakes up, there's like a dollar. And she takes it to school and she shows her friends and she's like, look what I got. And she's pointing at it and swaying it out. And all her friends are like, whoa, that's so cool. And then one friend in the back of the lunchroom is like, oh, you think that's cool, huh? You think the tooth fairy is cool? Have you ever heard of the Mind Fairy? A bully depicts her as a soy jockey. Yes, that could actually happen at schools now. Can you imagine bullying at schools now would be like somebody putting your name into a generator that makes you look like the sway jock, and it makes them look like the Giga Chad? Can you imagine what that would do to your young mind? To see your bully as the Giga Chad? Hell on earth. It's less the kidney fairy and more the kidney underground mob ring. That's because that's scary. That would be a great idea for a horror movie. You have to take what things people are like a little bit scared or creeped out about in real life. And you have to kind of like mix it up with some kind of weird supernatural element, maybe. Like, maybe it's not a scary gang that will steal your kidney. Maybe it's a ghoul that only eats kidneys. But what makes it show up? The kidney eater. Where does it come from?
Gorillas and pie cheered. X100. Okay, why is Los going gorilla? I'm the only gorilla in this family with the exception of a few.
Thank you very much for the 100 bits. It only shows up when you swear at your mom. That is pretty good. That is a good moral. Do you like horror movies when the monster becomes the friend of the person? I like those. I think those ones are really cool. What if they don't have a mom? If your mom doesn't know the kidney ghoul, your mom is the kidney ghoul. You watched a movie like that recently? Oh. Okay. Have a wonderful lurk. Like the Babadook. I don't know about the Babadook. Maybe I have to give it another chance. I liked it. But I don't know, maybe I didn't give it a fair chance. I need to try the Babadook again. It is fun to say. Babadook. Babadook. I think Skin of Marink is way scarier than the Babadook will ever be. Have you watched Skin of Marink? Yeah, of course I like The Thing. Everybody likes The Thing. You trying to test if I'm human? Oh, that's like a... Oh, wow. That was so smart. Yeah, Skin of Marink, kinda keen on. Skin of Marink is the scariest movie I've ever seen. See, I thought that too, but a lot of comments on Skin of Marink are like, how are you scared by this? Skin of Marink has some of the funniest comments. Because they're like, nothing happened for 2 hours. And then it's right next to comments that are like, I couldn't stop screaming for 2 hours. It's a Wabanaki tribe legend about people who become twisted creatures. Oh, a Wendigo. Is it a Wendigo? The Butterfly Man. The Butterfly Man is just a scary name, even if I wasn't afraid of butterflies. I would be afraid of the Butterfly Man. Wouldn't you? Mothman? Okay, less scary. Yeah, I agree, don't give up Skeleton. Though, it has very good cinematography. Horror is not about fear. It's about disturbing the viewer/reader. Focusing on fear is what has destroyed horror as a genre. I want to hear more of what you were talking about. Teach me. What does that mean? I think you're right, but I don't understand. Have you seen The Grim Cuddy? That movie was terrible, but I liked it. Do you have a real blue and green colored Switch? Yeah, I do. I actually do. But technically it's purple and like light chartreuse. It is that color, but I think you're colorblind. If you want to see something truly freaky, check out the Yosemite night crawlers. What's that?
Gorilla Senpai cheered.
Thank you.
X100. The Yosemite night crawlers is something that will really freak you out. Look it up sometime.
I will look it up. Thank you. And thank you for the 100 bits. Hi, Deke. Thank you, Anthony. Modern horror focuses on shock or instant fear. Yeah! There's not that much slow burn, right? Rather than terrifying people to their core by focusing on themes and spooky thoughts. I agree. Yeah. I like atmosphere a lot. And that's what I like in music generally, too. Well, at least music that I make. There's a lot of music that I listen to that isn't necessarily atmospheric that I still like. Do you enjoy SCP horrors? Usually not. I like the concept. And some of them are very well written. You had a revelation a while back. The old genres of comedy and tragedy have evolved into horror and every other genre. Which is what you like about spookies. The only jump scare is a paper cutout. And what's so cool about spookies is people get afraid of that paper cutout because of the other stuff going on. That's what's so cool about spookies to me. They like psychologically condition you to be afraid of the funny paper drawing. It's so good. Jump scares are cheap psych horror. No, I could not disagree more. I like jump scares, and I think pulling off a jump scare well is one of the most technical things you can do in a horror film. Good jump scares are incredibly powerful. I think a lot of people don't really take the time to figure out what they like or dislike about jump scares, so they would never have any hope of making a good one if they're not even able to see that. Yeah, well, 95% of everything anyone has ever made is gonna be bad, and that's the reason why good stuff is made. You have to make bad stuff to make good stuff. Oh, that's from my favorite horror game, Archmute. I love that horror game. I would like to play that again. I recommend that game to freaking everybody. Scary Bilbo is a good jump scare. The game is called I Remember This Dream. For Novemberween. Yeah, exactly. It's a very short indie horror game. And yeah, it is about horror. It's about jump scares basically. But I feel like if you play that game, maybe you would understand what I appreciate so much about jump scares, because the jump scares in that game, I mean, you can mute me if you're interested in playing it and this would be a spoiler for you, but the jump scares in that game have no sound, so there's no like loud, violent screen shaking, screaming in the background when you get caught by the monster. It's basically silent, if I remember right, but it's very, very surprising because that game has such an intimate understanding of sound. It's able to scare you without making any loud noises or anything like that. And I don't know, I feel like everybody who instinctively hates jump scares should think a little bit more about why they hate them, because you might learn more about horror and you will probably learn more about yourself. regardless of what kind of conclusion you come to. I've not heard of that familiarity. You don't hate jump scares, you just hate when they feel unearned. Yeah. Do you like FNAF jump scares? Those ones are funny. Faith, the Unholy Trinity, has good jump scares. I think I've played the first one. You don't like the feeling of that little heart attack? Yeah, it happens. To be fair, I know Outlast is praised well above the usual standard, but they managed to build suspense and paranoia very well in their first game. I should try it sometime. I've only watched it like a million times, but maybe playing it is different. You don't get jump scared by movies. They do literally nothing for me. That's okay too. Do you still enjoy them, even though you're not jump scared by them? Like, I know quite a few people who love watching horror movies, but they're not really scared of them, especially not anymore. Like, maybe they used to be scared by them, but then they really liked them, so they started watching a ton of them, and now they're like a little bit desensitized to that. But it doesn't mean they dislike horror now. Even though, I mean, The Haunting, I don't think I've seen that. I haven't seen a lot of movies in general, by the way. The first Freddy's was a good example of jump scares, since they're a punishment for losing and thus raise the tension and anticipation. It'd be kind of interesting if sometimes when you died in FNAF, you didn't get jump scared, or they made it look like you were about to be jump scared, but you weren't. House. Yeah. House is top tier horror because it's cute and fun. House is cool. I agree. Wouldn't watching horror movies all the time start to affect you? It depends on the individual. People are surprisingly different from each other in some ways. Like, some things affect some of us a lot, and the same thing will affect other people, like, not at all. It's really hard to predict. But a lot of our experiences, I mean, that's why communication is so important, I think, because you cannot effectively intuit what somebody else is feeling or thinking. There's so many variables. They're just built different. You reminded me of Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Oh my god, I love that show. I need to rewatch it. I guess I'm just built different. That was so cool! That was so cool. I didn't expect to like him so much. Hereditary is great, but the first Paranormal Activity was really chilling to me. I haven't watched a Paranormal Activity in a very long time. And I'm not sure if I would like them. I probably would. Is Paranormal Activity found footage? I would probably like it. They still make Paranormal Activities. How many are there? You're a fan of work? You're a fan of work? Works like psych and cosmic horror and dark fantasy. Those are my usual interests in the horror genre. I'm not all that interested in slashers, but you love a good kaiju movie. I like kaiju too. I've always kind of wanted to get really into kaiju. There's so much to watch, and I think that's so cool. I think it's so cool that it also has like roots, shared roots with like Kamen Rider and Super Sentai and stuff like that. I think that is very giga cool. Because I really like Kamen Rider. The first Paranormal Activity was very funny to me. Got everyone sitting around like an hour, and then the lady gets yanked out of the bed. Nothing happens for an hour. That's funny. Used to like reading a copy pasta series called The Holders. Each one starts very formulaically with The Seeker entering a mental hospital / halfway house and asking to see the holder of something. Have you ever seen The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms? It was a likely inspiration to the original Godzilla film. No, but I would watch it. It sounds cool. I think it's cool that Godzilla is like a... what's the word? It's like, obviously it's sci-fi, but it's also like political commentary about nuclear weapons. I thought that was so cool. I think when people are like afraid or hopeful or just uncertain about things, their speculation ends up being very interesting. Because even if it's not necessarily predictive, it can help you understand the context of the incident so much better. Yeah, post-war Japanese media is insanely cool. I agree. It was very anti-nuclear. And, it was also very, like, strictly, what's the word? Because of the American occupation in Japan, it's very... I don't even know if I can describe it. It's like somebody was watching over it or something. What was the last film you saw in a movie theater? Oppenheimer. It's nice to see Godzilla return to its horror roots with Shin Godzilla, Godzilla -1, and Godzilla Singular Point. I haven't seen any of those. Look, it is LilyHops. The anime film trilogy has the best King Ghidorah design regardless of the rest of the films. Yeah, I haven't seen any of these. The movie Oppenheimer supposedly left out how Oppenheimer was a Soviet agent. Is this true? Did this happen? Real? But yeah, that movie was pretty good. It was very long. I have a friend who's wanted to watch it. And he keeps saying, I'll watch it when it comes out on streaming.
Chicken has gifted 5 subs.
Thank you very much for the 5 gift subs. You didn't really like it. I thought the acting was really cool. And I like the scenes where he was engaging with academia. I thought that was really cool. Like the professors talking to each other and stuff. I don't think you will like it. Yeah, thank you very much for the gift subs. SithCon.
Adjurl has gifted 5 subs.
Thank you for the 5 gift subs, Adjurl. That is very kind of both of you, and I appreciate it. And I hope you both had a very happy Halloween. It was alright, I just felt a whole lack of emotion, just like most of Nolan's films. Didn't he make Batman? I don't know why I said it like that. Yeah. I like those. I thought those were good. Especially, I thought I would hate The Dark Knight on rewatch because I only watched it once and then I rewatched it like years later. This year actually. And it was so good. I think I was missing like a lot of nuance that I didn't expect to be in the movie, so the first time when I watched it I was like, okay, it's Batman. I wonder how many other viewers had that same experience. You were really impressed by Robert Downey Jr.'s performance in Oppenheimer. What did he do? I can't remember actors. Ribbit. I liked Josh from Drake and Josh in Oppenheimer. Yeah, he pressed the button. He pressed the button? Yeah, Dark Knight is so good. The guy who plays Harvey Dent in that movie is like ridiculously good at acting. Drake, where's the plutonium? I pressed the button twice for emphasis. Emphasis! Thank you very much for the raid, Seki Bonky. I hope you had a great stream, and everyone please follow Seki Bonky. Welcome. Dark Knight is one of his best. Oh, I've heard good things about Memento, but I've never seen it. Oh yeah, wasn't I supposed to play Yooka-Laylee? I was having fun talking. Perchance. I would still watch it. I don't mind watching older movies. There's a lot of bad old movies, that's true, but there's a lot of bad new movies too. And there's a lot of good old stuff that people just ignore because it's old. You love LilyHops, then why don't you marry them? Yeah, there's a game. Hi, Seki Bonky. You were playing Beat Saber, cool. You can talk if you want to. I've just been enjoying that lately. That's funny. I need to practice talking. I must practice talking once more. I used to do fairly long just chatting streams, but I think it's been a while since I've ever done something like that. Streamer. Video game. Now. Look. A Yooka. Isn't this a Castlevania stream? I 100% Castlevania already. Deathless Run. Castlevania. Maybe I'll play it again though. That could be fun to do. I kind of just figured people were tired of it. But I don't know, I don't really get tired of stuff like that. If anything, my hands hurt, but I don't get bored very easily. Which is probably why I know so much about boring stuff. Go for the 200, we will. You saw this sweet Yooka-Laylee cosplay art on Twitter and you liked it so much you made it printed onto a wall scroll. Aww. Cute. This is one of my 100% files. This isn't 100%, but I was just playing it again. And then I cleared this so we can play a new one. Is Yooka good? I like Yooka. Yooka. Yooka-Laylee. Yooka. Yooka-Laylee. Welcome to Shipwreck Creek. He does look like Gru. Do you like Minions? My dad loves Minions. My dad is one of those guys who posts Minions memes on Facebook all day. It's the vice president. Here. Minions. Yes, Minions. Typical dad behavior. When you become a dad, you like Minions. Hello. It's good to see you too again, Deco. I haven't seen you before, but it's nice to see you one time. Despicable Me is pretty good. At least the first one is. I can't read this. Look at how cool this game is. Somebody hates this game. More than one person hates this game. Look at this tree. This is a beautiful tree. What's wrong with it? Nothing. That's right. Look. Oh. This is multicolored paints. See, you dip your brush in it and it comes out multiple colors. This is where Laylee sits, and this is where Yooka sits. And it's funny because Laylee is smaller than Yooka, but she gets the bigger towel because she has a bigger personality, kind of. It is possible for somebody to have too big of a personality, so you have to be careful. Don't do it just for a big towel, okay? This is what they painted with the multicolored paints. It's the inside of their butterfly enclosure, which is made out of a shipwrecked boat. The rest of the boat is up here. Let me just tell you about this game for like 3 hours, please. Anyway, this is where they live. You can eat them. I am tasty butterfly energy. Be nice and collect me to refill your power bar. Look, this is how lizards really eat. Yeah, they like it when you eat them. I'm not really sure why. Look, this is how Laylee watches TV because she's a bat. So she watches upside down like this. It's kind of cute. Yeah, I'm glad you like it too. Happy Halloween. She's just hanging around. This boat is called the Batship Crazy. Yeah, the Batship Crazy. Here's Laylee again. This game is cute, I agree. Goofy Rare people, it's not made by Rare technically, it's made by people who left Rare and made a company called Playtonic. But they're ex-Rare employees. That's a good idea, Denchi. Look, a snake in the hat. It's the snake in the hat. Okay, so this guy teaches you moves. Yeah. Okay, he's teaching me tail twirl. There's 200 quills in each world. They're analogous to the notes from Banjo-Kazooie. Or I guess the bananas from that game I didn't play. I should play Donkey Kong 64 someday, but I always hear such mixed things about that game.
Yeah.
Is it good? I heard it has bugs. Like some memory allocation issues. It's fun casually, but a bit laggy. Hi, Koji Kochi. Yeah, the expansion pack variety. My friend told me about that. There are only 3 games that require... No, there's 3 games that require the expansion pack, or is it there's only 1 that requires it and 3 that benefit from it? No, I think there's 3 that require it, and they are Donkey Kong 64, Majora's Mask, and Perfect Dark. Maybe? I don't remember. You should play Superman 64. I would do that. That's okay. Those 3, okay, cool. I wish I knew what he said, but I can't read. Oh, ah! Cute. Not so good, my throat hurts, and I've totally lost my voice. That will be last night's karaoke. Your performance blew us all away. Oh, there's a Pagey inside of him. So in this game, instead of Jiggies, the little puzzle pieces from Banjo-Kazooie, there are pages. They're pages from a book. I think there's 170 of them in the game.
Yeah. Hey.
Oh, you can double jump. Oh, you saw that? Castlevania 64 LOD? What's LOD? Lord of Destruction? Diablo 2? Yeah, Lord of Destruction, Diablo 2! I've been playing the Diablo 4 new season. It's kind of interesting because it's so clearly... Is this too loud? Marginally. Anyway, the new Diablo 4 season is very clearly based around Halloween, but it goes until January 23rd, the day after my birthday. So I thought that was really funny because in Christmas and late January, there's going to be a season of Diablo that's all about like pumpkins and vampire bats and stuff. It's the wrong time of year. Is the new Diablo season good? I couldn't finish the first one. I didn't finish the first one either. Yeah, it's much better. In short, like, I would highly recommend it. If you like ARGs. ARPGs? ARGs are something different. ARGs are when I work on my funny puzzles. You tried to get into that with the first season, but really couldn't. I don't blame you. The first season had a lot of quality of life problems. Also, hello, you're awesome. I love you. Platonically. Analyzing. How many did you need? But yeah, a lot of people complained about the first season of Diablo 4, and Blizzard seems to have reacted to it in a surprisingly competent way. Like, they have made a lot of changes that make the game a lot more playable. Back before Chaucer realizes we didn't give him those clues we found. Very cool, very funny. I'm gonna have to mark this game down for its flower variety. Very low. You can't go up this yet. How you swim again? Look, there's like a big bathtub thing. Do you know the mobile game Dragalia Lost? That was my favorite mobile game ever, because it was basically like just an action RPG on the phone, rather than being like a phone gacha game first and an RPG second. It was very, very charitable to free players too. Anyway, when Dragalia Lost went offline, when the service ended, that whole evening. I made a giant bubble bath and I played. I played on my phone in the bubble bath until the servers went offline. It was so cool. That was one of my best days. What are those blue things up there? I feel like these are the same kinds of games that criticize, they criticize like other games tongue-in-cheek to be like, oh, why is there so much dialogue to explain these things? Why do we need to introduce everything? But then they like do it themselves. I don't think you need to explain some of this stuff. I love this game so much. Hello, welcome. Welcome to my stream. Hello, Jordan Mallory and Frank Tinsley. Hello. Hello? Is this where I go to order a pizza? Hi. I think I've seen you for a long time. Okay. I appreciate it. I think. Only veggie pizza. Hi, R.I.P. Is it okay if I call you Airy Pie? Look, it's the snake. Did you see how they slid us across the floor? You think it's very cute? Okay, cool. I think it's very cute too. That's it. You would play mobile games if skip-guided tutorial was a common thing. I agree. Mobile games also have to figure out their menu situation too. The UIs tend to be very, very bad. But I think you can learn a lot about UI from playing mobile games for that reason. The UI is the barrier between you and I. That's so cute. You're right, though. Greetings. Hello. I love that he made a little statue of himself. He's like, this is the president. Look, this is the president. It's Peter from Family Guy. And then he's like, I want one too. Vice President. Hey. The signage in the overworld is also really good. I've always really liked that about this game. I don't think it's like a new thing in this game. I'm pretty sure most collectathons with overworlds have something like that, but they also should. Look upon my works, ye mighty, and despair. You don't have to despair. I'm a pagey. I live inside the all-powerful one book. I love this game. This is one of my favorite games. I am back from the dead. Hello. A lizard and a bat. What's up with that? How'd you pull? Thank you very much for the raid. Go away now. I hope you had an excellent stream. And everyone, please follow Go away now. You're playing Black and White. Ooh, that game is interesting. That's a retro game, and it's kind of like a real-time strategy, I guess. Would you call Black and White real-time strategy? I think I would, right? It's your favorite game ever? Awesome. You loved Black and White too? Cool! I haven't played either of them, but I've watched a fair bit of Black and White. Real-time symphony games. God game, yeah, it's a god game. And a city builder. And a virtual pet, yeah, because you have to keep your funny cow happy. It looks super cute, you like the aesthetic and the music a lot. I don't remember the music very much from Black and White. Now we can go to Tribal Stack Tropics. No, we have to learn a move, right? Did he teach us the move? Yeah, he taught us the move. So it uses my stamina bar in the top left. But basically you can't ascend these slopes unless you're in your ball form. There are some really cute idle animations in this game that I'd like to show you. A Wagey and a KG. You'd love a remaster or a remake to Black and White, or a sequel to Black and White 2, but that'll basically never happen. Oh, have fun in VR chat, Galena, and thank you again for raiding. PG. So another, I don't think I have it yet, right? Yeah. But another ability that Yooka has, the chameleon, is you can eat these eggs. And there's different elements of them. There's like a fire one, an ice one, a grenade one. They're a little bit like the eggs from Banjo-Kazooie now that I think about it. But after you eat them, you gain their powers for a little bit. So you can breathe fire, like Fire Mario. You can become Fire Mario for a bit. I love the talking sounds too, but I just don't feel like reading. Yeah, you can be Mario. Have any of you played Mario Wonder yet, by the way? Hello, Fuzzgot Games. Should you buy it? I don't even know how much this game costs, to be honest with you. Unless you were talking about Mario Wonder. So there is 5 big books in this game called Grand Tomes. And Grand Tomes are like worlds that you can go into. So there's 5 of them, but there is also the overworld, which is just as big as one of them. So each Grand Tome can be upgraded so that it more than doubles in size. You have to get all the standees. I got my first standee this month. Last month. Because it's November now. Would you say this is a long game? Yes. I would. I like the music too. You play Reverse 1999? Yeah. It's kind of like it's like a gacha game, but it's like also a VN, sort of. It's a cool one. This is one of the ghosts. So, in every world, so these are kind of like, if you played Banjo-Kazooie, these are like the Jinjos. So if you get all 5 of the Ghost Riders, then you get a Pagey in each level. So in each level there's 5 Ghost Riders hidden, get all 5, and one of the Pages for that world is from them. Like so. But, lore-wise, so remember how I said there's 5 Grand Homes that you can go into? These are the authors of the Grand Home, so I think it's implied that it goes in order. I'm not really sure. But I'm pretty confident that the last one wrote the last book. I always try to match it based on like how they look. The last world in this game is so cool. It's very, very cool. But definitely on your first playthrough, this game will take a while to beat. Yeah, I like the menus too. Yooka-Laylee is... Oh, it's 85% off. Yeah, so we can't get this Ghost Rider yet, I think. Maybe we can, but I don't think we can. Okay, never mind. A lot of them have like very specific tricks you need to use, and sometimes you'll encounter them before you're able to get access to them. This game is so good. This guy wants to race you. This game is very puzzly now that I think about it. Because there's a lot of things that change the world state that you have to do to be able to complete the objectives. I think Banjo-Kazooie was like that too, but this leans into it more. And maybe that's why I like it more. I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be a girl skeleton. But I can't remember. Let him cook. Yeah, let her cook. That's like the opposite of Ape Escape. I love Ape Escape. Justy, we have to cook. Did you hear that those two actors went into business with each other and made like a, what is it, vodka? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now we can learn the first move. Crystal blue vodka. Yeah, Aaron and Brian. Yeah. Mexican inspired. Oh yeah, it is. I think, right? Oh, I don't drink alcohol. Except, like, I mean, I occasionally I will have a sip like once a year. My once per year sip. That is true. Have you had the yearly sip yet? No. Not yet. I'm saving it. I have to save it for later. This place is so cool. This is one of the worlds that gets huge when you upgrade it. I think it's so cool that you can make the worlds bigger. Yeah, you can't. I don't think you can do much up here until you upgrade it, right? I don't like eggnog. I do not like eggnog. I love Noida, yeah. I think it's awesome. I think I'm anti-nog pills. I just feel like it's so slimy. It's just such a slimy, non-Newtonian fluid. It doesn't sit right with me. Did we talk about... I thought you said, can we talk about candy corn here? Are we allowed to talk about candy corn? You hate eggs, yeah. I wouldn't say I hate eggs, but I don't think I would drink a liquid based on eggs. I like mixing egg into rice, though. Is that allowed? I do like candy corn. I think one of the reasons why I like candy corn so much is because I think it used to be my brother's favorite candy. So when I eat it, it reminds me of him. That's the same with Cinnamon Toast Crunch, by the way. My personal favorite cereal is Reese's Puffs. Do you have any foods that remind you of somebody you love? Eat 'em up, eat 'em up, eat 'em up. Your sister would never feel that way about you. Call her and talk it out. Family. Candy corn needs to be abbreviated like Daddy Longlegs. Cute. Homemade beans remind you of your grandma. I think for a lot of people, music reminds people of like certain time periods in their life, which I think is really cool. We would never do something like that with like colors or words. But with sounds, for some reason, we do, right? I think I hate this character, by the way. This is supposed to be a vending machine. And I don't think this is a very good design. Yeah, smells do it too. Butter bar lady. Can I just pick any of them? This makes the game retro. I don't think it streams very well. I think the scan lines kind of look bad. Yeah. I don't know. I worry for my tummy. Could try leaving it on. Nah. I'm turning it off. What's this? Oh, yeah. This tonic is a secret. Yeah, I guess I have all of these unlocked. You can take off Yuka's pants. No, I guess you put on pants. Yeah, I agree. The scan lines and the FPS are a little bit too much. Huh? Yeah. Hi. More like scam lines. I thought the snake was around here. Well, this one's really easy. We can do this now. Hello. Can we do it without talking to him? He might spawn something. Old games ran in 60 FPS. They did. I guess it depends on which one. I'm pretty sure I know some old games that ran in 30. This is the box. Hi, Auntie Haven. I'm doing good. Oh yeah, CRTs were 60 Hz. Yeah. Hi. I 100% this game too, Chunky Monkey. It's a very fun game to do that with. My dad hates video games, but he loves the Banjo-Kazooie soundtrack. Whenever my dad drove me to school, he would play the Banjo-Kazooie soundtrack. I agree, Vanilla. I wish I had a different answer. But I agree. What is that? This ghost goes invisible if she sees you. I'm pretty sure you can't do that one until later. What? I haven't played Lego Island 2, but I almost did. I did a Lego Island 1 stream. It was unfortunately catastrophic due to my technical issues with the game. I felt so bad too because my friend who really likes the game was like, hey, can you play Lego Island? I really like it and it would be a really cool stream. And I was like, I can, but it's not working. Reminds me of the Crushers from Castlevania. Lego Island 2 was stink. I heard that Lego Island 2 was less open world, and it was just like a linear level experience. Probably one of the only game series to go from open world to linear. Actually, this is another one, huh? Yooka-Laylee. The second game is a linear platformer. Wait, this isn't open world though. I always mix that up. This is like Mario. Big Mario. Mario 3D. Mario 64. Big Mario 64. Can I get the drop? Analyzing. Come then. Come then. I feel like that was pretty close, right? I like that they call your attention to this empty spot with the quills. Because it's like, oh, there's nothing here, right? And then you look and then there's a ghost. That goes invincible. Invincible. How is she invincible if I can see her? Mario, big Mario, Mario 64. Oh yeah, there's 2 more pages we're looking for. Oh, there's the page. Ahoy, Captain Krabs. Welcome to my funny ukulele stream. Welcome to my ukulele stream. Good flower variety, very nice. Oh, there's one more. I thought it was the last one. It's above me, isn't it? He's right behind me, isn't he? Maybe I should run Castlevania 1 again today, because I beat it off stream. Are those flowers allowed to grow in that ecosystem? Yes. I'll allow it, yes. It is allowed. Just this once. What's up there? I don't know what that is. Oh, I do know what that is. You need the sonar blast for that. What's the other page? Page? There's the page. Yeah, it's coming from the game. This is kind of like a small touch, but I really glad. I'm really glad they don't just give you the pagey item, they put it down on the ground in front of you, so you get to walk over it and pick it up. Aw, thank you, Czar. That's nice of you. I see the outline of a page. Analyzing. This is the boss, I think. Can I do the boss yet? I don't remember so much about this. No, I've been here. I've already been here. Analyzing. Analyzing. I think maybe I shouldn't go from memory because I can't remember the accurate location of a lot of things I'm looking for. Your bops are bopping. Thank you. I appreciate your kindness. A lot of the characters in this game are just so weird looking. So this is an octopus woman, and her name is, I think her name is Dr. Puss, but they like changed it to Puzz. What the heck? It's the bean raids. The timing of that raid. Yeah, I'll go back. Thank you very much for the raid, Soya Player. I hope you had a great stream. I saw you were playing Macquarie. I am playing Yooka-Laylee. Everyone, please follow Soya Player. She's one of my favorite streamers. She's one of my favorite streamers and one of my my first VTuber friends. And she's just kind of cool and funny and epic. You noticed Yuka wears shorts? That's actually a special cheat code I have enabled. Yuka doesn't normally have shorts. Yeah. So to do this part of the level, you have to turn into a plant. So you can talk to these plants and figure out their problems. And one thing, I didn't like this, and you would think that maybe I would really like this part of the level, but actually these plants are very mean to each other. And like, this is like a bullying campaign, basically. You turn into a plant and you like go into this little garden and you're like, Pog, I'm gonna talk to plants. But the plants are like, oh hey, you should bully this other plant. I don't know, it's kind of weird, champ, to me. I don't think plants would do that. That's just how plants are. No. Hello, sleep monster. Hello, scruffy monkey. You're sure some plants would be mean? I don't know, I think that's such a human take. It's such a human take because I feel like it stems from like, well, some people are nice and some people are mean, so some plants are probably nice and some plants are probably mean. It's just the law of averages, bro. Lol 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 lol. But that's not true because you're applying you're applying an anthrocentric lens upon my plants. You can't say that for certainty if you've never spoken to a plant before. It's just not true. What if every plant is nice? You think all plants should be evil? I don't know why, but I'm okay with that option too. Poison ivy isn't very nice. I think it's nice. I think maybe you're the problem. Have you spoken to plants before? Yeah. Yeah, I have. Stop laughing! Who's laughing at me? Oh yeah, he's in there. For some reason I thought he was below this thing. But he isn't. Hello. Can I get a sonar burst? Plant defenses are just responses to threats. Surely this is true for all defenses, right? A defense has to be a reaction. I guess there's proactive defenses. But like, for example, it's not a defense if you go out against like whatever is threatening you, right? That's not defense. Give me that sonar shot. Oh, Malik, this is by the same people. It's by people who left Rare. A lot of people being mean as defenses to perceived threats too. I think the individuals probably think of it as a defense, but it probably isn't a very effective one. Buddy Slam, Slurp Shot, I think we need all of them. I can't remember which one I like to get first. I think I would probably get Slurp Shot first. I used to have a pet snake. I've had a lot of exotic animals as pets before. Because my family is like pretty into rehabilitating animals. Hi Andrew Snow. I hope you had a great stream. Yeah, I had a pet snake, and it was a boy snake, and his name was Vanilla. You can use sonar attacks on this thing. What's that crazy sound? Thank you for the follow. And everyone, please follow Undo Snow. Undo Snow is one of my mobile game streamer friends. I think people who stream mobile games are pretty cool. There are 3 mobile game streamers that I really like. And Undo Snow is one of them. I want to eat this. That looks delicious. I like that they made the eyes different from each other. Yeah, it's Molecule. It's Molecule, the molecule. Do you like molecules? I love this game too. Oh, you're talking about Reverse 1999. I don't think I want to do that right now. What's this? Oh yeah, this is what you need the Buddy Slam for. I forgot about that. There is a thing underneath here that I can do right now. I can't remember how many pages I actually need to finish this world. But this is one of the ones that opens up so much after you upgrade it. Hi. Real talk, I don't see how anyone can play more than one gacha at a time without going broke. Yeah. Isn't there a way to go first person? Doing spend. I should actually read what he's saying, huh? Oh yeah, you have to use the buddy slam up top to clear the windows to let him start. Don't spend any money on them. There are mobile games that they're very easy to free to play too. But I don't know. On the other hand, I kind of agree with what you're saying, and I think the practices are kind of like kind of bad. So that's one of the reasons why I don't talk about mobile games very much, because I think they're super bad, especially for like a subset of the population that is really susceptible to that type of marketing and stuff. I think it's just as important to look after those kinds of people. Although, I don't know, it's probably easier said than done sometimes. Analyzing. I think I can do that one now. What I do with mobile games that have cute girls is I just go to the wiki, and usually they have like data mined the full resolution PNGs that are in the game, and I just download them locally and I pretend like I have them. I pretend like... sometimes I pretend like I spent a ton of money to get them too, so I'm like... It took me 500 tries, but I finally got her. Look, it's my wife. You're allowed to do that. You are allowed to do that. It is legal. So if the purple ghost, you have to... He's hungry, so you have to feed him, and before he'll turn corporeal. So you feed him and then you collect him. Right clicker! Right clicker! And then watch the story arcs on YouTube. I still have to do that with the end of the Kingdom Hearts game. I heard it's very Ralph-centric, which is my favorite Disney movie. Have you seen Wreck-It Ralph, by the way? That's a really good movie. Some of the sound design in this game is really pleasant, for some reason. Analyzing. 2 out of 25. I need more quills. Hi. Perhaps the only good video game movie. It's so good. I'm sure there's others, but Wreck-It Ralph is like... I think officially it has like an 8 out of 10. And for me, that movie is like... Well, if it's my favorite, does that mean it's inherently a 10 out of 10? Well, no. I think my favorite is a 9. Oh no. What should I do? There's Mortal Kombat. I haven't seen that. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. I don't know what you said, but yes. This game has Hollow Knight in it. No, Shovel Knight. Sorry, I mixed them up. I have a Hollow Knight shirt that I wear when I play Hollow Knight, but also other times. Oh, that's so cool. You know how Charizard's move is Fire Spin? There's a new set that came out pretty recently for Pokemon, and I'm trying to remember how it was translated, but the name that they gave a move for Charizard is so funny. It's like Extreme Giga Fire Spin or something. How was your day today? My day is good today. How was your day today? I hope you're having a good day. Shovel Knight and Hollow Knight, both amazing retro style Mindy RPGs. 2D platformers, starring cute little dudes with funny comments, lots in common. Your day is so-so today, you're having everlasting migraines. I get migraines too, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have so much trouble with my eyes when I have migraines, and that's pretty regularly. This is kind of like embarrassing to admit, but when I have migraines, it's mainly light that bothers me and not sound. But I really like reading. So I recently learned how to read Braille so I can read while I have migraines. And that was interesting. Someone please make Mindy RPG. Thank you, Kurok, if that's a compliment. Can you not go in here yet? It may have just told me that I need to upgrade the world to go in. It actually is pretty easy, yeah. This is where Shovel Knight goes. Analyzing. We need 3 more quills. Then I can get Buddy Slam. Have I been all the way upstairs? Oh, I bet the racetrack has some too. Oh, this isn't an RPG. It's kind of like Mario 64 or like Mario Odyssey. If you don't know what Mario 64 is. Is this Banjo 3E? Kind of. There sort of is a Banjo 3E, but it's a Game Boy Advance game. I have 31. I can go back now. This is the last move from this world. I don't think you need very many pages to upgrade a world. I'm trying to remember how much it actually is. Thank you, Kurok. I hope you have a good day. I always thought the symbol on the far left here looks like a Nintendo Switch. Oh, how do you reset this? Now it's the lion. Then it's the stun shop. Then it's the ocean. Then it's the instant ramen. Yeah, the music is recognizable. Who did the music in this game? Wasn't it, what's his name? Grant Kirkhope? Yeah, I think it was Grant Kirkhope. I could do the plants thing, but we should clear the top. Well done! How do I get in? That is the question. Grant Kirkhope. Oh, David Wise was on it. I wasn't sure if he was. And that's who I was mainly asking about. Because David Wise did, didn't he do Sticker Brush Symphony? I love that song. Can we listen to that? I mean, of course we can, but I'm going to. Sometimes I phrase things like questions when they're not really questions. Not really sure what it is, but it is something that I do. This is an atmospheric song, isn't it? People make such good MADs to this song. Oh yeah, you can aim like this, can't you? It's not the most precise thing, is it? Come then. Huh? Top shooting. Oh, NAD is it's what they call AMVs in Japan, I guess. Is it kind of like an AMV? But it's stylistically different. It's like the same idea, but there's really different trends that they use in them. Is there a second challenge he has? Right. Like, I think maybe I'm not completely communicating how different they are, though. It's not like, oh, they make Japanese jokes in them, or they use Japanese music. Like, an MAD looks like it was made by an alien if you're used to AMVs. They're very insane. But they're really cool, too. Analyzing. They're both alien to me. You capitalized alien, and that makes it look like you're talking about the movie Alien. I feel like we should get one more before we leave. Yes, very much kind of like Gachi. Unironically. Analyzing. Yeah, they're similar to YouTube poops, kind of. Despite being like AMV. You have to go down here before you can go to the arcades, because there's a cave down here that has a play token inside of it. That instrument is so cool. Listen to the slight delay on it too. How much do you know about this game? I have 100%ed this 4 times. But with that said, I haven't played it in like over 2 years. So I don't really remember some aspects very well. That was cool. Okay. Oh, I should leave this area before I turn the sound back on because there's a cool sound thing here. I'll show you. Listen. This guy is called Rextro. He's a T-Rex, like a baby T-Rex, but he loves retro games from the 90s. And he wants to show you his games. Yeah, he's a retro head. Do friends want to play? Oh, this guy has such cute lines too, cause he doesn't just tell you about retro games, he doesn't really understand modern culture that much, so sometimes he's like, Rextro sad that arcade closed down, Because instead of playing on arcade cabinets, friends want to play on a line. Because he doesn't know what online is. Yeah. Let's see if I remember how to play this. Isn't there a boost button? I thought there was a button to boost. There's a shortcut to the left, but I didn't take it. Ah, okay. Okay, that's the death elixir, it kills you. Okay, this character that I'm piloting is called Kartos, and I just remembered some really unfortunate parts of this game. Like there's an entire boss battle in World 4 that takes place on Kartos. The first time I played that boss fight, it took me so long. And that's not necessarily bad, but I don't think it's a very good boss fight. I like how wide the turn radius is. Maybe I am a Rextro gamer. What happened? Boom, boom, boom. Wow, friends won game. Please wait well. Well, Rextro save record onto memory card. Memory what? Feel free to try game again. We have to beat the high score. Don't friends want to play on the line? Don't they? You miss memory cards. What was that? 3 minutes and 13 seconds? Something like that. Oh, I died. You remember having to bring a memory card to arcades? Cute. I like those arcade games where you have to bring cards, or that you use cards that they give you. Like, not memory cards, but like... There are some card-based arcade games that I think are really awesome. Like that one with the bugs, or that one with the, like, dragons. Checking. You can't jump the gap on the shortcut. You can't? Oh, I wasn't trying to. I just got knocked off. Or I messed up when I was steering, I think. Oh, sorry, yeah. My bad. Ow. Stop. Initial D? Initial Ds. Okay, not funny. I heard the Initial D Omnibus is coming out. Oh, that's the final lap tone. I thought that meant I was finished. I'm in slow motion. No! Thank you, Slide Charge. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you to say. Oh, did I do it? Yeah, I think so. First place. Patchy, 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 patchy. Wow, Rex sure can't believe you beat high score. Now friends receive ultimate prize. 3-letter entry on arcade leaderboard. Please, friends, write humorous leaderboard name on golden piece of paper. Do friends want to play again? I love him. He's my favorite. I think they poke a little too much fun at him, but I still love him. Hi, Thomas. Hello. No, you have to wait until next year. Cloud-based racing, how next turn? Here we go, strap yourselves in. One lap, first through all gates wins. Go. I'm not sure if you can easily do this. No, I think you do it twice is what I'm thinking of. And this is a mechanic that I don't think people know about, and it's probably a legitimate criticism of the game. But if you run into a butterfly, it has a different effect than if you eat a butterfly. So if you run into one, it gives you stamina, but if you eat one, it gives you health. I think if you run into one or eat one, it should give you both, personally. Why would they do that? Well, if that's a genuine question, I think...
Flaps42 just subscribed. LilyHops.
Thank you very much for the 4 months. I think maybe they thought... At first they thought it would be cool if you could eat butterflies with your tongue. But then they were probably like, well, do you not get it if you touch it? And then they probably said, well, you should be able to touch it. But I don't know, if you're able to pick up the butterfly through contact and through your tongue, maybe there was a discussion about like, oh, why would you ever touch it if you can just get it from distance? Or why would you ever get it from distance if you can touch it, whatever. I'm not really sure. Maybe an accommodation specifically for speedrunners. I think it's just an idea that got left behind through deving. I'm trying to think of a downside though to just giving the player both. Yeah, it seems kind of champ to me. Pagey acquired. Do you hear that? Oh, we have 7 now. Very pog. Yeah, I don't know. Why do you think it's separate? I don't think the reason I came up with is very satisfying, to be honest. So I don't think that's the real reason. But maybe there isn't a real reason. And it's just something that happened. I learned yesterday that in Final Fantasy 1, there's a stat on your character stat sheet that does literally nothing. And I thought that was so weird. The wisdom stat in that game, it's not connected to anything. There's a wisdom stat that goes up when you level up, but it's not connected to any game system. It's just a number on your stat sheet. And it affects nothing. It's very strange. FF1 has very, very buggy stats and spells. There are spells that are supposed to buff you but actually debuff you. It's so funny. Analyzing. I don't know how I did that just now. Just like your degree GPA. Oh, Mountain 2. Did you know? Did you know? I have a 4.0 unweighted GPA. That's the highest one you can get. Analyzing. What's in there? Thank you. I think after my family, school is probably the thing that is most important to me. Why not 4.1 GPA? Are you my parents? You sounded like my parents just now. No. What can you do here? Oh, I thought that was a tube. I can't remember what you do here. Thank you all. On the racetrack, there is something that we can potentially get right now. Oh, another thing that's kind of weird about the transformation in this level is the plants that aren't involved with the, like, bullying side quest just give you tips about the game. And I thought that was kind of weird. That seems like something that should, like, maybe be left on the overworld. Because when I'm in the first level, I don't want to be... Like, the first level, in my opinion, shouldn't be as much of a tutorial as this first level is. I still like it, though. I like when they scream. Can't you exit through the menu? Yeah, you can. But you don't have to. You can exit through the Grand Tome. Which is kind of weird that there's a Grand Tome inside of the Grand Tome. Like, is this the book of Ivory Towers? Where does this take you? Why would the book be inside of itself? That doesn't make sense. You chalk it up to sequencing. When they were making this, they probably used it as a vert slice. What's a vert slice? Can you tell me what a vert slice is? The Book of Recursion. You can expand then using a pagey. Isn't it like 3? I think it's 3. Maybe it's 5 though. Vertical slice is a term used in game dev to explain like a slice of cake. Ah. Okay. I think I get it. I know all of this already. Oh, E. I think next year it would be really cool in the summer to go on a road trip to a ghost town. I think that would be awesome. Three pages. Yeah, I'll expand. What type of ghost town? One with a mine? Maybe. All that's important is that it's abandoned. And that it has houses there, have plants growing all over them and stuff. It's not important that it like has a cursed gold mine or something. I just want to see some abandoned houses. That was a funny sound. I want to play Castle of Anaya for a little bit. Can I show you my Castle of Anaya? I'll show you. I wonder if I can capture a Castlevania Deathless Run live on stream. We'll take a look. There's a mine in Ghost Town in Death Valley that a guy has been restoring on YouTube. Oh, I've been watching that. I like that too. Okay, this isn't Yooka, this is... Oh, I can use retro! I always see people using retro, but I never use it. I'm gonna use it. Okay, Castle of Anaya. I was so happy when I won. I did not expect to, that's for sure. Yeah, I love nature. Sorry about the clashing sound for a second here. Yeah, I'm 70 years old now. I think the Twitch streams that have like a higher average age of the viewer base have been so much more fun for me to watch lately. I've been watching a lot of like retro streamers, and the chat is just so intelligible. I really like it. Nope, that's the wrong one. Yeah, this. Where is it? Here's my Castlevania. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of agree. Like, I don't want to paint anybody with like a broad brush, but that has kind of been my experience. Look at the tiny Castlevania. I had this turned way down because I was playing like a million attempts the other day. Hi, Cliff. You love talking nonsense about skinless cheese. That's okay, too. Yeah. I appreciate that, Moxus. Ow. Bum, 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 bum. I love Yooka-Laylee, it's one of my all-time favorites. What do you think of hearts being power? At first it confused me a lot, but I don't mind after that. When I first saw this game, I was like, why are hearts power? That doesn't make sense. I'm gonna have to get the wall chicken, I've been slacking. And this double rosary. Yeah, if you haven't played Yooka-Laylee and you like Banjo-Kazooie, you gotta try it. It's very good. Double bat? You can get double bat? They did it to mess with you? Yeah, maybe. What is the sound? What is that? What was that? Is this the low health alarm? What is that? I got so confused. Okay, this is the real run. You thought it was Banjo when I first loaded the stream? Yeah. Low health? That can't be. Because I played this for 10 hours and I never heard that. Just yesterday. They did it to mess with you? What is that? What causes the beeping? You thought it was an alarm on your phone? It means your wall chicken is done. Done. That's funny. Cool stop and watch. My deathless run was, I think, half an hour, but that's because I kept pausing. Because I played so much. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna clear this time, I'm just gonna keep practicing. Eltriok! From the big event! Cool! No way. Come in. Eltriok! I deathless cleared this yesterday. I cleared this game without dying a single time. In Castlevania 1. I know! Which is the one you played? I'm trying to remember. The one you showcased, I mean. You probably played like a million of them. Oh yeah, the Japanese version of Castlevania 3. Akumajo Densetsu. I heard you just whip once. Is this true? Is this a lie? I always just whip the two Medusas and then go. But I'm not a speedrunner. Hello, Ultima. I'm really glad I was able to beat this game in time yesterday. Castlevania speedruns, crocodile emoji. Posting crocodile emojis whenever I hear about speedruns. This is me speedrunning to the side of my aquarium whenever Castlevania is mentioned by one of the patrons to the zoo. That 2 is fine, right? Use it, Castlevania. You always find speedrunning takes the fun from the games and makes you less focused on the experience of playing and more on perfect repetitive pathing. Yeah, I think it's probably for a very particular subset of players. Like, basically...
Dragon Knight _02 just subscribed. Hi, Lily.
Hello. I think speedrunning is basically for the people, most commonly for the people who have played a game a million times. And they're like, how can I squeeze another drop of enjoyment out of this game I already know I love? But not always. Sometimes people come into a game and be like, this looks like it would be a good speed game. And they start off that way. And for those people, I mean, those are just the kinds of people who know they'll have fun doing that anyway most of the time. So I think it's probably fine. However they want to do it. I have played Frogun. Froggin. It is a game about a frog. About a frog. Come in.
Theodore_T-Mabo just subscribed. Hey Lily, sadly I need to go to bed, but I want to tell you that I love what you do and enjoy every stream I can see. Wish you a happy and successful Castlevania stream.
No, I didn't see that. Thank you for the 36 months. 3 years. Ah, I wasn't really paying attention. Unfortunate. I just use the sub-weapons to get to the end in a pinch. Cause there's always mummy cheese. Well, who's reading chat? Medusa, then Skull Bone Tower, Medusa, right. Right. Let's try again. Yeah. Guarantee, I'm not sure why, like, people were insisting it was from the low health. The most annoying part about this game, when you're going for the death list, is walking back to stage 3 and 4, basically. Because stage 1 and 2 are so fast and easy, or not fast, but they're so easy to do. You don't have to really think about them very much. It's funny that I still care about playing this even though I already got the death list. But I do care about still playing it. Yeah, I have Castlevania fever. Sometimes you'll think about playing a game you 100%ed years ago. Like what games? What games do you always come back to? Even though you've beaten them? I replay StarCraft a lot. StarCraft 1. I think that game is so good.
_ goes just subscribed.
Valda's story? I've never heard of this story. Thank you very much for the gift sub, Brahma Ghost. You haven't touched StarCraft in many years? How many years? Remastered or original StarCraft? I like both of them. I should stream those sometime again. Nier Automata. I haven't beaten that, but I love the music in it. It's not like I need the cross. Do you enjoy Yooka-Laylee? It's one of my favorite games of all time. I love Yooka-Laylee. I highly recommend it. Yeah, I always do this, but I know you can just whip once and then run across, apparently. Because the one whip, I guess it puts you out of phase enough that you can just ignore the Medusas. Do professional Castlevania players call them Dusas, by the way? Dusas.
_ goes just subscribed.
Deuces. The pro circuit, yeah. Thank you for the gift sub, Brahma Ghost. I was never super into the idea of speedrunning, but me and my best friends casually tried to beat each other's high scores in Celeste because we loved that game. We obsessed about that game for 3 months. It was awesome. Do you ever watch AGDQ? I have before, but not very much. Do you recommend it? Is it cool? For me, it's probably kind of unusual that I don't enjoy speedrunning because I tend to really like playing a game that I can spend a crazy amount of time on. And there doesn't necessarily have to be a lot of content in that game, I just have to have some way of interfacing with it for a long time. And that makes it sound like I would really enjoy speedrunning, but for whatever reason, I don't think I really do. And something about it puts me off personally. It's become very corporate. GQ was godlike in the early 10s, but now it's become kind of weird and stifled. Interesting, I'm gonna have to learn about that. You used to think it's cool, but lately it's been kind of bleh. The speedrunners don't seem to try to do any good runs, trying to finish a run. Oh. Yeah, I wouldn't like that either. Sounds like they stopped having fun with it, and it became too much of like an esport or something, maybe. But I don't know, in esports even, there seem to be a lot of different ways to make it more fun. I always liked the pro gamers who, like, they're not necessarily the best players, but they have a lot of personality, or they play in like a kind of strange particular way. Those people are always a lot of fun to cheer for. Speedrunning got mainstream, that's the problem. Maybe. I don't think being mainstream is necessarily bad. Because if something is mainstream, that just means a lot more people can enjoy the hobby. But maybe there's other implications I'm not considering. Like infrastructure related. Maybe to accommodate all the new people, the spaces have to degenerate in some way. I don't know if that's true. Keep gatekeeping. I don't know. I feel like anybody should be allowed to enjoy anything they want to. But on the other hand, I don't know, I think a lot of the time little groups like that have a really unique culture that newcomers should try to assimilate to at least a little bit. These are the mummies. I heard this is called the bonfire strat. Old school cheese at its finest. What is the oldest type of cheese you can eat safely? Are there any, like, ancient cheeses from, like, different time periods that are still around? Are there, like, any cheeses that are buried with mummies? The one dude ate ancient cheese. Who? Who ate the ancient cheese? Mostly honey, yeah, that's because honey is really good at dehydrating. It crystallizes and keeps forever. But cheese, I'm not sure how well cheese dehydrates. Can you dehydrate a cheese? Does that work? It dehydrates quite well, the dry ones at least. As scientists, they like to eat the stuff they find if they can. No, they don't. Is cheese not dehydrated milk? I don't know. Doesn't it have like gigabacterial cultures in it? Come on. I usually don't get hit by him. Come on. Floor chicken. Even better than floor chicken. Here you get stair chicken. Cheese is basically chemically identical to... What the? There's a type of cheese that can be aged for over 15 years. Oh, really? Yeah, it's retro cheese for retro gamers. Cool. Retro cheese. Most cheese is not actually vegetarian. Huh? You telling me there's meat in my cheese? I could just do this, right? You love cheese? I don't know how I feel about it. I love stage 5. Hello, Mini Sardine. Thank you for the follow. Come on. This is one of the rooms where I could probably stand to improve a little bit. Ugh. I need to watch how other people do this. Oh, okay. So I have to end near the left side of that platform. Can I do it again? Oh no, that's a bad idea. I'm not gonna do it again. To make cheese, people used... What is that? Rennet? Rennet? If I was going to have livestock, I think it would be ducks. Or maybe chickens. I'm not sure. I like to trick this guy on the stairs up here. You showed up in my recommended dig the vibes and left me some Castlevania. Shame this one doesn't have floor chickens. Hey Wine Cat. I'm glad you love Castlevania. I just started learning this game recently, and I finally got my first deathless clear of the game last night. I think it's really cool. And I would like to learn the other games too. Symphony of the Night is your favorite? Very cool. You need to play the GBA game. to go to this side. I don't know why I did that. Circle of the Moon? I know of that one. No, I think they meant are ya are you winning, son? Lily, look, it's death. Yeah, I see him. Yeah. Alright, now I have to not die on this bridge. Are you winning? I love how it looks just like the stage looks on the map. The holy water is from the bathtub. Oh, I messed up. I've messed up gravely. Whatever. Good try. Yeah, sometimes I get self-conscious on the bridge, and I trip and I drop my spaghetti all over myself. You love Banjo? I speedrun. You speedrun Banjo-Kazooie? I love Banjo-Kazooie. Anyway, we didn't get the death list this time, but we can finish it no continues. Hi Zoiteki. Zoiteki, I got death list last night. It took me a lot more attempts than it took you. I think you're a lot better at video games than I am. But I was very inspired by it. My lip is so short. This is an injustice. Right, I wasn't far enough to the left before. I do try very hard. Yeah, that can knock you off the edge. So you have to be kind of careful about that one. I didn't mean to use that. Unfortunate. Should have maybe considered getting the meat, but that's okay. Because we already died, so... I like that you can jump over this. I like that you can catch the cross. Ultima 4? Isn't that an RPG? What's Ultima? Is Ultima the same as Ultima Online? Is it the same? Because I know about that. I've played it. The servers are online right now. Yeah, it is. Ultima is a dungeon crawler. Same franchise. If I'm gonna be a retro gamer, I have to learn about Ultima. I have to figure out what the heck Ultima is. I know what wizardry is. I It's based is what it is. 35 is probably sufficient. Casting spells. Are you actually cheesing? Farming is not cheesing. They give you the crosshair and lay it out like this for a reason. They want you to do this. Okay, come then. Yeah, farming is strategy. I do this to increase my reaction time, because I have the reflexes of a naked mole rat. Ow. Can I get a 2? Can I get a 2? Two, please. Where's my 2? Do I have a 2? Uh-oh. It's okay, we already had a death. I'm surprised you have different strats from Dot. Yeah, I didn't learn this fight from Dot. I learned some parts of this game from Dot. But, I have some strange approaches to it. They're probably not optimal. LilyVania, hello Crimbo Kelgs. Greetings. Retro Gamer, do you know about Wizardry? Yeah! I do. As a person who has a 4.0 GPA, this gameplay isn't that bad though. Good for you. Cool! I always feel self-conscious because my friends are like becoming like professional mahjong players and like giga popular YouTubers. And I'm like just sitting here in the library. And I just feel like a little nerd sometimes. But maybe I can do something with my little piece of paper. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Moas just subscribed.
Thank you very much for the Prime sub, Moxos. I appreciate it. Crimbo, I got a deathless run of this yesterday. Unlike Mahjong, which is what all the popular kids play, I like playing Mahjong too. But I don't necessarily have the time to play it a lot. My favorite Yaku is Bamboo Forest. It's a local Yaku. I hope you don't let those thoughts demotivate you. I think from my first impression that you're a great person. You can't just say that! You can't just come in here and say that. Thank you, that's nice of you. Let's see. I think your stream is rather successful having been here when it was tiny, but I always knew you could make it. Ah, thank you, Wishcraft. Wishcraft, be honest, did you enjoy the song request streams? 3 years ago? 4 years ago? Can I ask which degree did you pursue? Oh, I don't talk about like the specific like degree, university, or department or anything like that, but it's a science degree. Hey, cats can do whatever they want and sit wherever they want. You should know that. My favorite kind of cat is a black cat because I think they make very funny expressions and you can't see their mouth sometimes. And they look like little blobs. Science nerds. You have a black cat? That's awesome. If I had a cat, I would buy a black cat. Or maybe an orange cat. I don't know. Maybe both. I'm glad VR Austin agrees with this science nerd lifestyle. Damn, science degree with a what the heck? Okay, time to kill Dracula. How do I have 89 hearts? Whatever. Jack attack. Come then. Okay, come then. Come then. Analyzing. Can probably get it now. Oh, that wasn't a small heart, that's why. It has to be a small heart. I think I'm about to die. I do need more Dracula practice, to be fair. Eventually I'll be able to do this without pause buffering, but not yet. It's probably such an annoying sound. What was that about the small heart? So there's a hidden counter in this game where every 10 entities that you destroy with your sub-weapon, in my case, the holy water, there's basically a counter that goes up, and after your 10th destruction of an entity with the sub-weapon, the next small heart that would spawn will be a double trouble or a triple threat multiplier that allows you to have 2 or 3 of the sub-weapon out on the screen. And if you have at least the 2 multiplier, you can stun lock Dracula's phase 2 so that he can't do anything. I might be dead. We got lucky. We got lucky. Two more. That's okay. I like this part. It's funny. Yeah, the phase 2 is pretty easy if you understand the how it works. But his phase 1 is like probably one of the harder parts of the game, to be fair. Yeah, even Dracula gets held in place by holy water. It's so strong. It's so strong. We have defeated Dracula. It is complete. I got Deathless last night, G-Pool. I died 2 times, I think, in this run. Yeah, this was 1 CC. We did get 1 CC. How long was it? I don't know. Maybe like 20 minutes or 30 minutes, something like that. I'm proud of you too, Umphy. Well, time G-Pool is better at video games than I am. LilyHops, you have vanquished the night. Now no one can sleep because it's daytime forever. That's the plot of a Final Fantasy XIV storyline. It's very cool. It's so cool. Okay. I am done. I'm done streaming for today. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed today's stream. Aw, thank you, Adriel. I agree, Euchre. It is my favorite, too. I usually complain about Final Fantasy XIV storyline. But not that one. Good night, everybody. I hope you enjoyed watching. Bye!